Hey guys, it's Kugel again with another ROM review, and this time I've got a very awesome ROM, and it's called Cyanide L for the Nexus 5, so stay tuned for that. So guys, Cyanide L has been in the game for some time now, and it is really awesome. I just used it as my daily driver rundown, so it's a really cool ROM. And so let's get started. So what you see here is the normal lock screen. It has the normal it is the normal Nova launcher, which is pretty cool. I mean, it is one of the best launcher you can get for an Android device, so it's really nice. Let's get into the settings now. First of all, first things I just want to notify you guys is that it is basically everything. I mean, you have the 4-tile menu already enabled. You have a Cyanide L setting menu on the status bar, which I'll be getting into later, but I really like that one. So yeah, in the about phone page you can say it is Cyanide L, and if you know cyanide, it is a poison, and this ROM is a killer, and it's really nice. So yeah, it is the Nexus 5. It is version based on 5.1.1, and yeah, that much is it in the settings about phone page. But this is, you can see, it is RC, it is really standard. This is a stable ROM, and probably one of the most stable ROMs I've reviewed for the Nexus 5, basically because I haven't reviewed a lot of ROMs, but still it's a really cool ROM. Now let's get into the extra settings. Now this does have a lot, and I mean a lot of options. This does not apparently support layers, or if I don't know if it supports layers, but it does have theming engine, which is the CyanogenMod theming, which I personally believe is much better, but hey, different people have different views, so yeah. Now let's get into the settings. Now first of all, this is called Cyanide Mods, which is pretty cool. I mean, that is the different setting where all the options are, so you can use them. So yeah, first option is ad blocker. So it does come with a built-in ad blocker, which you can enable for the host file to be patched, and you will not get any ads, and it will update. You can click here to update the ad host file. So yeah, and the advanced sound option, you have advanced option. In there you have a lot of options like media control keys for this. Rather than having these settings in the sound panel, the sound setting menu has the normal functions, and this one has the advanced functions. So that is something cool. I guess a lot of people would prefer it this way because they don't want the Android experience muttered with the extra options. I don't know, but hey, it is there. In the other sound option, you have a few options too: charging sound, dock sounds, all of that. Volume steps. Now you can actually control the number of steps each volume rocker will do, so that is really cool. I actually use it. I really like precise control over my volume, so I actually enable that to about 30. So yeah. Now in the animation option, you have a few controls here. Right now it has 3-finger gesture, so I'm not really sure why this option is in the animation setting rather than the gesture setting, but hey, it is there. You have a lot of options like list view, over scroll effect. System animation is the AOKP system animation, so you can control almost everything in here. Text control, toast animation, toast app icon, toast text color also you can control, so that's really nice. Battery settings. Now battery life is pretty good on this ROM. I'm not going to say it is the best. I have gotten better battery life out of other ROMs, but this is pretty good. As you can see, my phone was in deep sleep. Well, it was not used for some time to get that reading, but still there were a few wake lock issues. As you can see, there is one. I'm not really sure if you can see that, but there is. But it is still a very battery friendly ROM, so that's really nice. In the buttons option, you have a few options for navigation bar. You can actually select turn on navigation bar, which is, well, it is on, but you have an option for slim pie controls or PA, paranoid Android pie control. So I will be getting that to that later. So yeah, you have a navigation bar controls. You have show landscape option, slim dim option, double tap to sleep. All of that is available, which I personally love very much, because double tap to sleep, status bar, navigation bar is more practical than status bar. Power button to end call, wake up buttons with volume, wake up device with volume button, playback control. All of this playback control was also available in the other options. So in the advanced sound option. so I'm not really sure why that is, but hey, it is there. Floating windows I really appreciate because, well, you can see floating windows does work in the event you long press a tab. You can see a small icon appear. You can actually click any of that and it will become a floating window, and you can actually snap to the bottom, snap to left, snap to bottom, whatever you want, and you can actually do a lot of stuff here. So that is really cool and it does work. I mean, I really appreciate this. This was actually something which I really liked in the Samsung ROMs, the multi-window module, which is really cool. So you have this option too, so pretty cool. Now you can actually have additional float options so that anything launched in Gesture Anywhere will open up in a float window. Anything launched from Heads Up will open up in a float window. So all that can be configured from here. Identicons, it also has Identicon option. Basically it's a contact picturizing tool. Whichever contact you have without a picture, it will actually enable pictures for them in a cute 2D kaleidoscope sort of a abstract thing. So yeah, you have that. Now this is interface control. Now in the interface control, you have a lot of options. You have app sidebar, which is enabled. You can actually have a lot of stuff here, which is pretty cool. You can add apps to the app sidebar and have them at your fingertips whenever you are going to use them in any screen. So you have that. App circle bar is also a really cool feature. You can actually enable app circle bar and you will get a circle of apps here. So as the name suggests, you have that, so it's really cool. Now Gesture Anywhere. Gesture Anywhere is one of my favorite features because you can get to any app which you decide with a gesture from anywhere, and it is really beautiful. So I'm not going to get too much into that, but it is really nice. LCD density changer. You have an option to change your LCD density from all of these values. It doesn't really have a number panel which will change it to whatever you like. It does have that, so it's really cool. Reboot the device to make your changes corrected and all that, so it's really nice. Now PA PI controls. It does have PA PI controls and even slim PI controls. It has both the option, and it is really cool to have a choice between the two, because some people do like PA controls more because, well, it gives you a bit more well, I would say granularity, but slim PI controls is really fast and really cool. So you have the option between the two, so that's really nice. Lock screen option. In the lock screen option, you do have option for a gesture lock screen, which I really appreciate because I really use gesture lock for my devices. So that is really cool. Double tap to sleep anywhere. So there is an option for long pressing the lock icon to launch the torch, which I normally use in my Euphoria ROM. It's really cool. It's really nice. So yeah. Notification options. You do have a few notification options like breathing SMS on the status bar, breathing SMS call, and voicemail on the status bar. Custom notification colors. You can actually colorize everything, but I prefer a more subdued look. But so yeah, it is available there. Disable the immersive mode message, force expand notification, shake to clear notification. You can shake your device to clear the notification panel of all the notifications. So you also have that option. That's really nice. Heads up notification and the lights. You can actually change the lights and colors. It does have that mod enabled, so you don't need to do that. Well, Nexus Which doesn't have that by default, so yeah. It also has a notification manager where all your filters and all that will be registered. You can actually enable interruptions. All of that is available, and it's really cool. In the power menu, you do have a few options. In the power menu, you can actually enable advanced reboot options for the changes on the go mode. All of that is enabled. You can enable that and get it to work. Now, quick setting panel. It does have quick setting customizations. Now, it can be a bar, which is this one. You can enable it as a bar, or you can enable it as a normal panel, and you can customize everything in there. So that is really cool. You have a lot of options here, and well, this probably is something which I would never be using. It even has S-tweaks, which you can enable. A lot of options here, even compass, which I personally like. Cyanide mode, Cyanide blackout, which is there. Gesture enable, heads up notifications, you can all enable. It also has kernel auditor mode, so it is really cool. You can also enable the detailed options for various styles like the Wi-Fi and this thing. So it's really nice. I mean, you have options for that. So clicking that will give you a detailed option. So really nice. recent app panel. Now so it does have slim recent option, and if you enable that, you can actually get options which is slim recent, and it's really nice. I mean, you can actually use that, so pretty cool. You also have the option for omni switch, which is pretty cool. I mean, a lot of people do actually use omni switch rather than the slim recent or the other recent, so you can actually enable that also if you so desire. I personally like the normal AOSP style thing, so it is there. You can also enable clear all tasks with a button, and that's really nice. Also, the position of the button is also there. You can also enable the color. You can also change the color of the icon and the background. Cyanide logo is pretty cool. I mean, if your recent panel is empty, you can actually have that show with a logo of this one, so you can see the logo. It will show up in your recent panel, so that's really nice. It also has shakes to clear recent also, which is a really cool feature. It's more of a gimmick. I personally won't be using that in any situation, so yeah. Battery option, you do have a few battery options. You can change the indicator to any of these and have the percentage inside the icon, outside the icon, charging animations, all that, even battery bar. Clock and date option, you have a lot of options. I really like this one because it is really cool. You have option for condensable, which I personally like. Alignment of the clock option, clock font size also, you can make it small. AM PM indicator, date indicator, all of that is available. This is my preference in what it should be, so you can actually you can actually do a lot with that, so yeah. Custom carrier label, you can actually enable custom carrier label, or well, it's not a carrier label, it's a message which will be on the status bar for all day long, so yeah. You can also have a Cyanide logo. You can actually enable them on lock screen and status bar. You can have that. The color also can be changed to whatever you like, so that's really cool. All of these are pretty awesome settings. I mean, you do have mobile and Wi-Fi network icons, network speed indicators on the status bar, notification status area, colorize the icons, and a lot. You have a lot of options there. Notification counts, tickers, all of that can be customized. Status bar header can be enabled. You can have a header there, a heads up button, all of that can be customized. You have a lot of options in the status bar settings, so yeah. It also has a system app remover, and as with the caution, please use it with caution because it can actually break your device, so please don't do it if you don't know what it is. Wake clock blocker, it also has a wake clock blocker, and also again caution, please do not do it without you knowing what it is because it can actually break the functionality of your device, so yeah. Now it also has a weather control option, which is basically a C-clock widget from the Cyanogen mod, so you can actually enable and disable stuff from that, so it's really cool. So that is it in the Cyanide mod settings, so that is really cool. It also has an option called Cyanide Central where you can go and download for various devices, and Nexus 5 would be the one for us, and you can actually get the kernels and all that from here, so it is a quick link for the website, so it's really nice. Now Cyanide Blackout, which is pretty awesome. I mean, it is a black theme like the TRDS option in slim ROMs, and it is really cool. If you like black displays and all that, it will blow your mind, so it's really nice. It also has ambient display and stuff like that in the display settings, so you have really cool features. It also has a smart cover which should basically turn off your screen when the lid closes, which I was not able to use, and I really don't know how to use it, so I'm not going to beat my head against it, so yeah. So I guess that much is it in the settings menu. I mean, it has so many settings that it really takes a while to get through all of them. It also has SuperSU inbuilt, so you don't have to install the SuperSU settings, rather than, well, it is inbuilt, so yeah. Developer options also has a lot of stuff, so enable the good shit, so yeah, you can actually enable that, so it's really cool. It does have a lot of options, so yeah. So now let's get to the apps. Now in the app section, it is basic Cyanogen mod apps. It has files, which is really cool. I really appreciate a file manager with the ROM, so it's really nice. Camera is stock camera, box stock, lollipop, so you're not going to get all the fancy HDR stuff and all that, so yeah. Let me show you guys the boot animation, which is pretty awesome. So here is the boot animation for Cyanide L, which stands for lollipop, so it's really cool. So I guess that much is it about the stuff. Now let me show you guys the benchmark score, which is pretty nice, to be honest. So as you can see, the score which I received is 30,000, which is, well, I'm not really sure why that is. I actually had a very good score of 38,000 and it was still non-verified score. I'll probably get a screenshot of that into this. The non-verification is basically because I was not having the Wi-Fi at the time of the score of the testing, so that is why. Not really sure why the low score right now is, and this is really low. I mean, the last time I got the score was pretty good. It was within 35 and 38. So I'm going to get a average of 36,000. My phone is really camera shy. I don't really sure why. So yeah, I guess that much is it about the ROM. In the conclusion, I would like to say that this is probably a really great package ROM for any daily driver. I mean, it does have a good battery life. I'm not going to say the best, but yes, you can see the wake clock isn't much. But still, there are a few wake locks. I'm not really sure if you are able to see the lines, but it is really cool for what it is, and it is really nice. It is fast. I'm not really sure about the benchmark score, but in my experience, it's really fast. So yeah, hope you guys like the video. Please share, subscribe, and like the video if you found it useful. See you guys next time. Bye.